From the Dallas On Air studios in beautiful Dallas, Texas, this is Fulfillment right here on DallasOnAir.com. And now here's your host, the Vegabomber, PJ Dunn.
All right, welcome, and one more welcome. This is the Fulfillment Show. This is Season 3, Episode 6. And so this is the show, if you've not watched Fulfillment before, where we talk all things movies and also collectibles, and we talk about, you know, just the stuff that nerds will talk about after a movie, rather than just saying, hey, this was fun. We dive into, oh, that camera angle was unique. Oh, those color palettes, I can almost taste them. Well, if you're saying stuff like that, then this is probably your show. So today, you'll notice that Johnny is not with us here today, but we do have a special guest here today, and that's going to be Christy the Jedi-goddess.
There she is. Hi.
There she is. And also that voice that you hear, the calming dulcet tones of Kazak.
Greetings and salutations, campers. Welcome to DallasOnAir.com. I'm not quite calm, but we'll see. I'm excited to talk, folks. Excited to talk. Oh.
That's right. We're going to get it up today. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to do a double header today. So I'm happy to be riding with Christy and Kazak on this. And so the first part, we're going to talk a little bit about just movies that we're anticipating this spring that are coming up here rather shortly. Yeah. And then the big topic of today is we're going to talk about those females, those badass heroines that you love. It doesn't matter what your gender is, your race, or any of this other stuff, socioeconomic background. When you saw these women hit the screen, you immediately said, yeah, exactly. That please.
Well done, Christy.
Oh, family.
All I can say is thank you for going with Michelle Pfeiffer and Eartha Kitt and not Halle Berry. Because that's just a bad female, not just a badass female.
That's the truth.
Great in the costume. She looks great in the costume.
We'll give her that. We'll give Hallie that.
That's all we'll give her. That's all we'll give her.
That's what she'll get, and she'll like it or not like it.
Precisely.
So let's start out. Let's take a look then. For all you film fans out there, you're probably saying, I'm so excited for this next film. It's coming out next week, or maybe it's coming out today, or it's coming out next month. So we're going to get into these anticipated spring films. And so with that, what I'm going to do today, instead of going first like I normally will, I want the special guest, Christy, to go ahead and go first. Tell us about your anticipated spring films.
Well, I'm super excited. I was so mad that it got pushed back by a week because I was literally prepping to watch it as I dropped. But Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yes.
I mean, obsessed. So I rewatched the Godzilla with Bryan Cranston, of course, as you do.
Yes.
And I've of course seen, King of Monsters and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for this. You have no idea. And it's one of those things that I want either one of them to win.
Yeah.
It is. I loved seeing any Godzilla. I'm a big monster movie nerd. Mm-hmm. So seeing them on the big screen when they came out, I know we can't really do that right now. But seeing it on the big screen was just like a religious experience for me. I was like, oh, yes. And I can't wait to turn out the lights in the house here, get some popcorn, get the drinks ready, and just go full monster movie.
Yes.
I'm here for the kaiju.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I'm so nuts.
Kazak, I get a feeling that you didn't like some of these films. What happened? What's going on, bro?
Okay,
so this is a safe space.
Okay, so like I said, Christy and I know each other for a long time, and we went together to go see Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Gotcha.
And I was fine with the monster stuff.
Yep.
But there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah.
They keep on covering up with stupid human beings.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them.
He could be. I love him, so. I love him.
and there was Japanese Jeff Goldblum, way too much family drama and not enough destruction.
Let them fight.
Now, I'm going to give this a shot. I will give it a chance. I think I may even drag out the projector and put it on the big screen inside the house, watch in the apartment with the big sound. I'm good with that because that's the way this should be watched since you can't watch it in the theater. I want to see kaiju as big as I can get them, and I did that a couple months ago with Shin Godzilla, which is a kaiju film I really enjoyed.
Yes.
Like I said, the way to watch this is just as big as you can. Since we can't go to IMAX, since we can't go see it in the theater, at least I'm not. You can. You have an option.
Yeah, the theaters are open.
I'm not taking that option.
Gotcha.
Same here.
So now you two picked this one.
Yes.
So what are you excited particularly about kaiju?
You know, I am, because I grew up as that kid in the 70s, right? So I loved, even though it was old rubber suits, but I love the idea that Godzilla was great.
Yes.
It always has been great. Now, what makes me sad is exactly like what Chrissy just said, is that, see, I like both Godzilla and King Kong, probably lean a little bit more towards Godzilla, so I'm going to hate to see them fight in a way because of that whole thing, but I know it has to happen because that's what the crowd wants. Are you not entertained? You know, I know that's going to be a lot of this. So, but for me, yes, I love it. And actually, one of my favorite characters is Jet Jaguar, who was in Godzilla versus Megalon. So as a kid, I thought I was just going to see Godzilla beat up on Megalon, but then there's this cool robot who looks a lot like Ultraman, who just comes in and helps him fight against Megalon, and I just love that robot, that flying robot named Jet Jaguar. And what a great name for a robot, Jet Jaguar.
Yes. Now,
very high on the stripper name list. Absolutely.
Going to the stage, Jet Jaguar.
Yes.
All right. So, should I watch Kong Skull Island to get into this one?
I think there's some redeeming moments.
I think it's you know, it's there's parts of it that are cheesy, but in a good way. And I think, you know, the monster is on the screen within seconds of the movie starting.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true.
So might as well watch it and give it a go, you know, and just don't go in there with expectations if you can. Just kind of ride it. But there's a lot of Kong.
Okay.
In Kong Skull Island.
Okay, I'm a guy who liked Pacific Rim, so if I go in expecting to enjoy that, am I going to enjoy that? Because that's my kind of kaiju film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. I think that's really good. And if you enjoyed Shin Godzilla,
it's a very man versus beast Skull Kong Island, but it's good.
Okay.
I liked it.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's great. So then, how about you, K-Zach?
Christy's got one more pick.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My bad.
Oh, no, you guys are great. So my other pick, so coming out May 7th, we have Netflix is going to be tackling Frank Quietly's tale and of Jupiter's Legacy, and Mark Millar, of course. So I got the comic book here.
Okay.
Excited about this. It's going to star Josh Duhamel, who, you know, we haven't seen in a while as an actor. He's kind of like not A-list, but he's known. Him and Timothy Oliphant kind of look like the same guy sometimes, but I like it. This is a really cool story. So without giving too much away, it's the story of the legacy and generations of these superheroes. So you have these superheroes that have had their powers for decades. And they're trying to pass the torch to their children. And their children are kind of, you know, just became adults or getting older. And they don't really care that they're superheroes. It's not them. They're still figuring out who they are. So it really explores, it's like one of the big things that it kind of explores the idea of, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, but the kids aren't, the people who have it aren't at that level yet. So what do we do? It's all of a sudden kind of been given this great gift, but not really fully understanding the responsibility that comes with it or even being prepared for it. So it kind of deals with that balance, of course, with lots of action and things like that too. The books are fantastic. Yeah. And this deals with the story that we're going to see. And this is kind of like before when the superheroes were younger. So it's a really nice comic book. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Netflix tackles this. The writer's the same writer. He's a writer who's written on Smallville, Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Pacific Rim Uprising. Oh, wow. So he's tackled the screenwriting on this. So I'm really interested to see how he, you know, takes the main elements of the story and incorporates it into a series. I think it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to see how they tackle that. Nice. And if you've seen the shots from it, the costumes look just like the characters in the book. So that's really cool.
Okay.
Oh, so it's costume accurate, not like Captain America and the first Avengers. Huh?
Yeah, it's not gray. It's not Snyder gray. No.
Love it.
Speaking of which, Christy survived Justice League in one shot. So.
Oh wow!
I did. Yeah, me and my guy didn't make it. He ended up passing away. It was sad. But I did survive.
Starving for plot. Starving for plot.
Starving for plot. I starved on plot and the reason why. It's essentially you have the Whedon cut in the Snyder cut, and then a whole bunch of extra stuff around it that just didn't belong. Lots of slow motion, lots of gray, lots of Gregorian music for like it's like every time someone picked up a phone or got a coffee, they're playing Gregorian music. I'm like, why? And it's in slow motion too, and it's gray. And I'm like, so, and then people are like losing their minds over it, and I'm like, okay. Anyway, that's my quick. But you know, props to anyone who loves the Snyder cut. I just didn't think it was great.
Coffee to Bruce Wayne. Coffee for Bruce Wayne.
I haven't seen it yet, so thank you for that. Telling me that, Christy, because I have my fears about stuff like that whenever they do that.
I didn't give away any plot points. There's still stuff in there that is a little bit different from the Whedon cut. There's a couple things in there, but
okay.
You know, I won't go into the details.
I'm good with that. Okay, Zach.
All right, so my two picks for the spring. First, I have chosen Mortal Kombat. All right, I'm gonna admit normally I'm not gonna go for a video game movie. But you show me that trailer with Jax getting his arm ripped off in the first 10 seconds. Okay, you got my interest.
Said you were worried about Godzilla King Kong.
Yeah, but I'm a guy who thinks Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is high art. So you give me
true.
You give me the gore factor.
I think Zach's perfect film would probably be Mortal Kombat, written by Lloyd Kaufman. Yeah. Why do I think that would be the thing? Directed by
James Gunn. No, directed by James Gunn.
Revisiting his roots. Why do I think that's the film with production by Sam Raimi? I feel like that is in the zone.
Yeah, that pretty much hits it. But yeah, it's it looks to be ultra violent. It looks to be video game accurate. And like I said, I think the technology has finally caught up with the movie. So I'm not expecting a great movie, but I'm expecting a lot of violence and gore. So yeah, I'll give this one a spin.
You give that one a spin, okay?
I just because it looks like a dumb movie, and I'll kill an hour and a half of watching arms get ripped off. That's fine.
I watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie on purpose, so I'll watch the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Give me some Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. I'm in.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Pick number 2 is a documentary that's on the way, and it is called Street Gang: How We Got to Sesame Street.
Whoa.
I read the book on this about 2 years back, and it's a really fascinating look at not just Muppets, which I'm crazy for Muppets, which is why this definitely gets my interest, but also it's a really insightful. It's really insight into broadcast television and really how they, scientifically and worked to engineer this programming specifically designed to get 3- and 4-year-olds, preschool kids, learning.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is we're all at that age where this this hit all of us. So all 3 of us, had to watch Sesame Street. My folks tell me that I'd watch the same episode, twice a day, and I'd pick up everything. I'd learn, like, speak Spanish. I'd learn how to count, things like that. And like I said, so getting the insight into Muppets, which again, like I said, anything Jim Henson produced, I'm totally in for.
Yeah.
But to get to see this part of television history, my history, I'm definitely down with that.
Yeah.
So
I get teary-eyed with Sesame Street. I love it.
Yeah.
So this is great. I'm gonna check it out. I love it.
Totally looking forward to a really in-depth documentary. And again, the book is a really interesting look at it, because it is an oral history of, you know, the folks who made children's television workshop, the first meetings, the production, the science, the live cast members like Bob McGrath, and things like that. How they did Franklin Roosevelt dirty, because they did. You know, now we're getting Black Muppets, and they better apologize. They owe Franklin Roosevelt reparations.
Yes,
That's
they
do. So getting that insight, it's really something I'm looking forward to, and I definitely am looking to check it out.
Well, I can't say I didn't learn how to count from the count, because I certainly did, and I love that thing about one of these kids is doing his own thing. I still think about that stuff. So.
Yeah, that song. Yeah, the songs are infectious. All of it is just great.
Yeah. It's like all you could find back then, if you were a kid, was going to either be Mr. Rogers or Sesame Streets or the Electric Company, right? Those were the shows.
Yeah. Captain Kangaroo.
Yes, Captain Kangaroo. And remember,
do you guys remember Zoobilee Zoo? Am I the only one who watched Zoobilee Zoo?
I vaguely remember it, but I aged out.
I don't remember that, but I do remember HR Puffin stuff. HR Puffin stuff. Can't do Lucas. Can't do much.
So yeah, there we go. And that's how we get to these. So yeah.
Yes.
Don't get me started on Saturday morning cartoons. Whole different episode.
That is a whole different episode. We got to move on. PJ, what you got for us?
We were just having so much fun too. Well, now I'm with the Jedi-goddess here, in that Godzilla King Kong is one. But since we've already kind of talked about that, I'll get to the one that I'm really excited about, and that would be Quiet Place 2. Right? And I think this is good because, well, we're talking about today, when we're talking about these great heroines, actually Emily Blunt's character is in this film, because she's taking care of 2 kids and a newborn since her husband got killed in the first one by the monster, the animals or whatever, right? So now I'm definitely ready to go back and see, how is she going to do this, carrying on all these kids? But I have a sense she's going to be just a great warrior character, a great protagonist, and then I want to see what they're going to do to the particular alien that they're dealing with. So if anyone didn't see the first one, just the synopsis, there was this super alien that had super hearing, that if you made even the slightest noise, it had lightning fast speed. It could find you, get you, and it would feed. Right? And so that's what they're dealing with. So the whole movie is about them being quiet and still, and they know exactly where to walk, where the floor doesn't creak and things like that. They put sand on the floor to make certain things softer so that they don't get the aliens to come after them. So there's a lot of thrill in it. There's some horror. There'll be some gore in it, I'm for sure, pretty sure. But here now, because the dad is gone, John Krasinski is gone, his character's gone, it's how is she going to do this? And I think they've added some new characters too that I want to see on this film.
Yeah, this is Krasinski's second crack at directing, or is this the first? Okay,
it's his second. Yeah.
Okay, because he directed the first one.
Correct.
And Emily Blunt's his spouse and things like that. So
in real life.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So with this film, I liked how in the original one, I liked how the aliens were not just stupid; they were pretty smart. But the fact that they could have that kind of hearing, you know, that you had to just imagine everything you want to do. And so in that first one, Emily Blunt's her character is pregnant. Yeah. So, and then she gives birth during this time too. So just seeing the dystopian area of everything's all torn down. They're the only few people around that they know of. And when people just want to commit suicide in the film, they just pretty much just scream out of frustration like we do during COVID. And then the animal will just come get you, right? So, or the alien wants to come get you. So to me, I want to see part 2. I want to see, did they rope themselves off too much in the first one, and then in the second one, can they do some new ideas without going crazy, where now they don't only just have super hearing, they have super seeing or something. So I don't want them to go too far away from it, but I do want to see what they do with it. So I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the original theaters, and I really liked it. I actually saw an ArcLight in LA.
Oh wow!
And it was a really cool experience because it was. I didn't have any expectations. I kind of saw the trailer for it, but if my memory serves me correct, I think the trailer didn't really give away too much, which is what I loved.
Yes.
I think trailers have a tendency to give away the entire plot and subplot of a film, so you come in there kind of already knowing what's going to happen. So I really appreciated the preview I saw in it, and then going in and seeing it, I thought, oh man, he like killed it. And it's the tone, which is really interesting in a film like this. the tone is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of lays the foundation, and the composition for how you're going to feel in this film.
Yes,
and you feel that.
And by that way,
tension.
that's exactly right. And by the way, this is a film you would want to, even though it's called Quiet Place, this is a film you definitely want to see in the IMAX as well, because as you just said, Chrissy, the part of this, the tension here, is just you seeing it with no words, and you start drawing in your own mind. Oh, don't step there! Don't step there! Don't watch out for the you know, and you just get so invested. And it's so quiet in the room in the movie theater that if someone's watch goes off, or if they even shift in the seat, you hear it because it's so quiet on the film. So you got to watch it with people who really love movies. You watch it with people who are just being goofy and want to shout out and say dumb stuff. It can kind of ruin the experience. But if you watch it with really people who are just engaged in really good movies, I can only imagine the IMAX, what this would be like when they're having everything so quiet. And then when it does get loud in the IMAX, I can only imagine the oomph that would give the action scenes. So
it's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this too.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. So with that, let's now drop into our topic du jour. It is going to be the best heroines in film. There's that wiki right there. And so I think going in with the theme of this month being Women's Appreciation Month, or just Women's Month period, which we could argue then, do we need just 1 month for women? I think we need more. But we'll go with it. We'll ride with it for now. And we'll start off with Christy, because Christy, I want to hear you tell me who are some of the best heroines in films and who inspired you also.
All right, we're going to go one at a time on these?
Yeah, we'll go one on one.
Yep.
One back and forth? Back and forth? Okay, cool. All right, I'll start with my first one. Of course, I had to pick a number. Now, there's so many to pick from, actually. So much different from when I was really younger, too. But I was trying to challenge myself a little bit, too.
Okay.
But I had to go with Furiosa from Mad Max for my first choice.
Tell us about it.
Imperator, Furiosa. What I love about her is that she is gritty, strong, a leader, and is sexy without being overtly sexy. That's what's powerful about these female characters. It's not sexy just in sexuality. It's sexy because they're so strong, commanding, self-assured, confident.
Yeah. She
comes in there. She doesn't want to mess around. She is a leader. We have a plan. We're going to get it done, and we're going to attack it. Because the character of Furiosa has been planning in the film. If you haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, shame on you. But what I really love about Charlize is that the film she's been doing for the vocal, she's one of my favorite actresses personally. So the film she's doing, she's always commanding these very strong, independent, wise female characters who will go into the fray, get their hands dirty, and to come out on the other side, whatever that's going to be. We're going to do what's right. And this film is about her doing what she needs to do to escape, to save these other women who have been enslaved by this dystopian people who are using these women. Immortan Joe, for instance, who's the big bad guy, he's using them as slaves. He's using them as his sex slaves. And she's rescuing these women and taking them out of a bad situation and taking them to a place where she knows she had safety. Because she, you know, even though people tell her there's nothing else out there, she doesn't care. She's going to take the odds and leave. And she's not afraid to do it and be a badass while doing it. So,
wow. That's great. I love it. That is fantastic.
Yeah, great. Yeah, Furiosa is a great pick for that. She's a great balance for Tom Hardy, and of course, like I said, you have her with the deformed hand and things like that.
Yeah.
So you've got her built into the weaknesses and you know, not losing in spite of them, but building off of them, making that weakness a strength. It's really, she makes some really interesting choices with it.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic heroine to watch on screen.
It really is. I mean, because even though it's called Mad Max, you know, it's still, and I think she just shines in a situation. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, you know what? I know it's supposed to be Mad Max, but her action, her craft, her ability to carry this character and make it forward. I almost forgot Mad Max was even in the film in some points.
Yeah.
because she was so good. She just commanded that role, and she let you know exactly who she was, and she played it without you going, wait a minute now, what about this? There were no whatabouts when you watched her performance. Her performance is absolutely on point. So I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah. One thing I'll add, the commonality between the women I chose is that you kind of know who they are within a moment, with almost within a scene. And it's consistent throughout the whole film that that's the character. You know who they are, you know where they're coming from, and they stick to their guns. Yeah. And that's what's really interesting to me as far as consistency and as a character, because I feel like I've developed a relationship with this character, and this character is making choices that make sense for that character. Even if they're hard choices, I kind of understand where they're going. Yes. So that's what's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally dig it. Kazak, what did you pick?
All right. So my first pick, kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week, anti-heroes, when now we have the balanced anti-hero, and that balance is Clarice Starling. Last week we talked about Hannibal Lecter. This week we get to talk about Jodie Foster and Clarice. Okay. And we can also talk Julianne Moore too. But you get with Clarice, you get a smart character, someone who is really kind of at the top of the game, knows what she's going in for, knows that she's kind of the sacrificial lamb, no pun intended, but she also knows that she's going in to match wits with a very, very dangerous individual. She turns on the charm, and she turns on the BS factor that she has to, but also, like I said, you can see her mind working all the time. She makes herself as vulnerable as she needs to. She makes herself as logical as she needs to. She takes charge of a situation when she has to. She is absolutely on top of it. And when you see her going into a situation that is fraught with danger, she's always keeping, like I said, she keeps her job in check, and she also keeps her people in check. She's a phenomenal leader on screen, and Jodie Foster is just captivating as this character. Watching her balance and bounce off, a tremendous Anthony Hopkins. Clarice Starling really is a phenomenal character on screen and on page too. Like I said, because she breaks into her vulnerability, she's a somewhat flawed character, but she doesn't let the flaws take her down. She really is just amazing and strong and smart as hell. When you're going up against the smartest guy in the room, you have to be able to match wits as much as you can, even when you know you're not, even when you know you may not be able to match intelligence. You have to be able to match wits, and that's a really impressive thing with her and him.
Yeah. No, I love Clarice on that. I think that character also was written well. Yeah. And I thought she was the perfect foil to him, and that's just one of those things you don't want to mess with. The chemistry that they must have had and how they built that so that it would come through on the screen so well. Of course, hats off to Anthony Hopkins on that, but she was right there with him. She wasn't like behind him and he was dragging her along in that performance. No, not at all, right?
No, they so balance each other out. Yep. And Jodie Foster is really good casting, and Julianne Moore was good casting for it too. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said,
I think their intelligence. What it was interesting is that I think Hannibal saw that his intelligence was matched in hers. She was just more reserved and quiet and observed more. But he understood that he was meeting someone who could see where he was coming from. And that was the interesting challenge for him, because I think at times she probably didn't even realize it. Yeah. But he did. And that's kind of where the mind games come into play. And I think she's a great character. And Jodie Foster is one of the best, actresses out there. She's even a great director.
Precisely. So. Right. She was such a smart choice for this film.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. If you hadn't picked it, maybe it would have been something I would have picked up as well. I'll start from the bottom of my list and go up. Okay. So I'm going to go with the number 3 choice of mine, and that would be Okoye in Black Panther. So as a big Black Panther fan, and reading all the Black Panther comics that I could devour, and then watching her being translated and put on the screen. And, of course, Daniel doing a great job playing her. I thought that she was extremely powerful. She did something to show you what it looks like to have a powerful black woman on screen. Like reminiscent of, like, you have Foxy Brown for sure early on, but to have an African woman, like, 'cause a lot of times what you see on TV is they live in these huddles and they look poor and there's a fly on the eye of the kid and they look like they can't do anything and they're having all these, but no, Okoye was nothing like the stereotype of what you think of an African woman living in somewhere in the plains somewhere. So just I liked her costume design, but the way she was loyal, extremely loyal to whoever had the throne, because that's what she grew up with. So even when Killmonger takes the throne, you know, she still says, well, but he still got in and he won the battle, the challenge. And so we have to serve him, to the dismay of everyone else. But it just showed her loyalty. Like, when she gets in, she's sold in and she will not compromise. Right. And so she has all her wonderful weaponry. She's funny. I like how she just took that wig and just threw it because she didn't want that wig on her head and all that stuff, because she was too pretty. She was too bold without it. She didn't need the extra stuff. So whenever Okoye takes the screen in Black Panther, you know this is somebody who's in charge. This is somebody who can lead, and on top of that, her military prowess. You know how she would get them all set up, and when they would do their attacks. If you noticed how the women attacked, they didn't just all come in all at once. There was a form, and each one had their own fighting style, and you could tell she had a part in helping them become the best warriors they could be. Not women warriors, just warriors they could be. So you could tell when you watch Okoye, just watch Black Panther again. I think people miss this because they're watching Killmonger and they're watching Black Panther. But if you look at Okoye, she's got some funny lines. Yeah. But she's adept at everything she attempts, and you can see that. What do you think?
Go ahead, Chrissy.
Oh no, I was going to agree. I mean, I think you said it very well. I love her. She's a military leader. She's a soldier. And she falls into that category of characters, you know who they are within moments of meeting them. You know where she's going to go. You know her loyalty is to the kingdom, is to Wakanda. And she cannot deflect from that. You know, she knows Killmonger doesn't need to be there, but he is the king. He passed the test. That's it. Those are the rules, and she has to follow them. She doesn't like them, but those are what she's going to follow, because that is her role and her duty in all of this, and she knows it. And I love how they explore the complexity of it, because she was torn.
Yes, she
was. She was, and you could see it on her face. But she's like, "What do you want me to do? Go against everything that I believe in?" You know. And so it made a very interesting on-screen chemistry on there, especially against, you know, Chadwick and Killmonger and all that, because everyone was very defined. What I loved about even Black Panther, everyone's very defined. Beautiful writing, beautiful, you know, Priest did an amazing job with the comics. These are fantastic stories, and these are well-rounded characters, and they're real. That's the thing. They're so well written. They feel so real, and that's why we connect to them. But I love her. She's a great, strong character, and I think she's absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, 100%. On the list. You took I'm not going to say the other one, but you took a couple of mine. I was like, man, I'm coming over there. I was like, oh, I see what you did. I see what you did.
But yeah, Danai Gurira, and I'm butchering her name because I screw it up all the time. But she's such a great casting choice for Okoye. You know, watching her as Michonne on Walking Dead, which is right. She commands a screen anytime she's on. Those eyes, that look, her physical presence, her mental prowess, everything about her is just commanding. Your eyes are just instantly drawn to her when you watch her, and her performance in Black Panther is absolutely amazing. Watching her fight, watching her work watching her work opposite her character, other characters on screen, everything about her is magnetic. And you know, like I said, you really buy her as this incredibly strong, beautiful woman. She is amazing.
Absolutely.
And she's, and I definitely want to see more of what she does. I want to see her. I want to see. Me too. I want to see more of this actress. I want to see more of her on screen in Black Panther. Yeah. I definitely want to see more. I definitely want to see more of what she does.
I do too. And I'll say this. Here's my controversial statement for today.
Okay.
Right. I would rather see Okoye be the next Black Panther than his sister. I thought Letitia Wright did a great job playing the funny, job to that. But to me, with what I know about reading the comics and certainly knowing how Black Panther, how regal and everything he was, right? And it's not the fault of the comics, because obviously they made Shuri completely different than she was in the comics. In the comics, she wasn't likable at all, but in this, she's definitely more likable. But the kid sister role, trying to take over the brother, I would rather see Okoye, because I know if she's the Black Panther, she's getting a lot done. So I can just imagine that. So they've made Black Panther's sister, you know, they made her more Shuri. They made her more of just the, you know, the whiz kid, the brain, the smart. But see, Black Panther was also brilliant too, and that's the one thing I didn't like in the movies, that they needed to somehow say, well, but look, he's brilliant, but so is she, and she's this and that. And I was like, let's don't make it about the brains. Yeah. Let's stick with the familial of the fact that that's a brother and sister team right there. But I think Okoye is so good, and I know they won't do this because they're going to follow the comics and make it be, you know, Shuri. But I would love to see Okoye as the next Black Panther. That's what I'd want to see. But, you know, I can dream. Christy, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I really like, you know, it's tough because she's such a soldier. Mm-hmm. So if they do bring her in, she's already established that she's followed the rules. She follows, it's been there for centuries and, you know, centuries and eons. That's what she's going to follow. So they have to find some way to make that a part of the legacy in order for me to feel comfortable with her going into that role. Yeah. But I like Letitia as the inventor. I really love their relationship on the screen. Yeah. I got the impression that they were both highly intelligent and they just played with each other. I think, just to disagree slightly, I think what they had was that she pushed more towards the technology. But I think I got the impression they were both highly technological, highly smart, because in order to do some of the things, even, you know, for T'Challa to do, you had to have some kind of degree of understanding technology and advancement. So I think what's interesting that these are just very complex characters. And, you know, it's so sad to see what happened to Chadwick. I mean, I cried, you know, my heart broke. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I really actually have trust in Ryan Coogler. Sure. And I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with this. I know some people think, oh, they should do this, they should recast him. I don't think that was the right choice. I'm kind of on board with Ryan was going with that, because Chadwick just was so good in the role. Yeah. And, you know, I'm just kind of really curious where he goes with this. And so,
well,
I'm excited for the future. I love the thing is, I think we can all agree, all the characters are amazing. Yeah. All the characters are amazing. Even Lupita, she kills it. Like, everyone is. Killmonger's great. I want Killmonger to come back. You know, I was like, wait, hold on. You know, so we'll see what happens. But I think, you know, even when you love the villains too, and the good guys and the bad guys, you know, I loved everyone. There's no one in Black Panther that I didn't enjoy on the screen. Every single character.
Well, you had an all-star cast, and you had people who obviously loved this particular story, and the passion was there. Yeah. I push back just a little bit on that. I don't think that they were not trying to show T'Challa as smart. I do think that they showed that. It's just that in the comic books, this guy's got a PhD in physics, and he got from Oxford. So what I wanted to see more from them was just I like the kid angle, the kid sister. I thought that worked well, because I didn't want them to try to make T'Challa funny, which is what they do with all the Marvel characters. They always make the leading men funny, and T'Challa is not funny.
Such a mistake.
So, which is
he's not Star-Lord.
So for me, I was just like, I just want them to show that fun part, which they did get to it. But when she was making fun of his costume, saying, oh, let me stop and put the helmet on, all that stuff. I'm like, wait a minute now. Come on. So that's where I felt like that's where they went a little overboard, when she was trying to say, look, my costume's way better than yours, because why would you do this when you could do this, and this? And I'm like, well, T'Challa would already know that. And he would know about all the training. But that's a little thing. It's a Black Panther guy, you know, who's just through all the comic books. So that's the only reason, because I think that they elevated it. And then, of course, in Avengers, they really elevated it. They acted like, when they were storming Wakanda, they acted like, well, only she can do, you know, and all this stuff. And so it's like they really positioned her like she's even smarter than Iron Man, maybe, or possibly. There were things that they were putting in there, to which I was thinking to myself, that's not Shuri at all in the comic books, but she's awesome to a certain degree. She just wasn't very likable the way they wrote her, which is a problem. But in this one, my man is Black Panther, and my man is always going to be Chadwick Boseman, and I just wanted to see him do better. With that film, it was still good, despite all that. Just like you said, Christy, I mean, everybody turned in a star performance, and that. So I think that's where we always end up landing, is that we love Black Panther for that. And I don't know what Ryan Coogler's going to do next, But I'd love to see Okoye at some point, if she has to, give her the herb. I mean, think about it. If you give her the herb, okay, she's already a badass warrior and she's smart and she's loyal. Imagine if she has the Black Panther powers.
I mean, I think, all the women
Black
on
Panther
Black
Party, that's
Panther.
fine.
Man, you know what? Give it to his mom. Give it to Angela Bassett. Let's do this. Let's go. Come on. I'm ready. I want to see this in my lifetime. But that's the joy of it. They're all great. They're all great.
That's true.
That's a nice segue, Christy, by the way.
Yeah, no, we're going there.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Who else is your choice there, Christy?
Well, so I went with a very interesting direction. I didn't want to go with the typical superhero. I went with kind of an anti-hero, kind of a villain.
Okay.
Now Angela Bassett, I will say, is my second choice.
Okay.
But I chose her character of Marie Laveau from American Horror Story. Now, I think Angela Bassett as an actress is very underrated. Very. She has been my favorite since forever ago. And I even loved her performance like Strange Days, everything. Like everything she touches is amazing. Solid gold to me.
Yes.
The reason why I chose Marie Laveau is because of the complexity of the character. Now, she's featured in American Horror Story Season 3, Coven. I loved her take on this character because this character is a straight bad person, does bad things. So to tell you, she's based on an actual historical figure, Marie Laveau, who was the voodoo priestess who lived in New Orleans in the 1800s.
Okay.
So she was known as a voodoo priestess. And because of that, there's a whole voodoo culture that has risen up around the story of Marie Laveau. And it's a big point of tourism, of course, for New Orleans, because her house is a historical museum. There's a shop based on where her shop was at that you can buy herbs and things like that to concoct your own magical things. What I loved about her character, though, in this is that she went from a character that was doing things like, in order for her to extend her life, because she was immortal in the series, she had to sacrifice children. I know, not great. But what I like it for a character who was doing one of the worst things you can do, she turns it around to where she actually makes herself likable towards the end because she starts second guessing her own choices. Now, what I like about the show is that she gets full accountability. There is full consequences that fall upon her for her actions, even though she grew. But I loved how much a character who's an immortal, who's centuries and centuries old, was still learning and growing. And she played from this character just being this badass priestess who has, you don't deflect, you don't mess with Marie Laveau ever, to a character who was starting to really understand the full impact of her choices and was starting to change.
Okay.
So that's why I chose her, because it's super complex. You knew who she was moments into the show. Okay. But then she grows on you. And to see a character grow in a way that makes sense for the character and based on the events around her, I loved it. And then Angela Bassett is just gold in the character. So I
would agree. Love that.
I will admit I almost went with Angela Bassett as Tina Turner.
Yes,
that was close too.
Because again, like I said, Angela Bassett is amazing, and again, everything she touches, you've got Strange Days, you've got What's Love Got to Do with It. You've got such a body of work that it would have been hard to go wrong with any of the choices for her, because she herself is not only a tremendous presence physically, but again, emotionally on screen, she's physically just amazing, and her command of language and script and things like that, she really does her homework. She really knows how to balance a scene and is wonderful when it comes to intimidation. She knows how to play that, and like I said, watching her vulnerability as Tina, watching her growth and things like that, she's absolutely phenomenal. Again, one of those actresses that's just magnetic anytime she's on screen.
Yep, no, that's very true. Who else did you pick, KZ?
All right, so for me, I kind of skirted the rules on this one because, again, that's what I do. And I couldn't choose just one from this film, so I chose all of them. And that's The Bride, Beatrix Kiddo, Elle Driver, Oren Ishii, Gogo Yubari, and Vernita Green, all from Kill Bill Volume 1, because every woman on that screen in that movie is a badass. Uma Thurman, you know, playing it off as Beatrix Kiddo, you know, the woman done wrong. You have Vernita Green, Copperhead, who, you know, as soon as you watch that first fight, it is go from the moment, and turning into, you know, the protective mom and things like that. You see Daryl Hannah, the imposing, mysterious assassin who is absolutely just desperate to not only please Bill but also take out Elle, and of course who's going to take out Beatrix. And also you have Gogo Yubari, played by, and let me get this name right, Shikaki Kuriyama. You know, when you see that fight, because the first time I saw her was in Battle Royale. She's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Watching that fight, it's just phenomenal to watch all these amazing women have such a presence in a fight movie. Because I mean, there's no questioning the strength, but also, like I said, playing those parts with such vulnerability. And like I said, I can't bring up Lucy Liu as Oren Ishii, and you know, watching her rise to the top of the mafia profile. I also have to bring up the film that inspired Kill Bill, which is Lady Snowblood, from 1973, which, like I said, the story of a woman who seeks vengeance on the men who raped her mother and killed her brother. It's absolutely, all of it is a wonderful revenge tale. And you get to see the influence of Lady Snowblood on Kill Bill, much in the fight scene with Oren Ishii. You get to see the poses, the glorious contrast of blood on snow, and of course, like I said, you have an amazing fight scene between her and Uma. Every time that you get these women on screen, you're getting a really wonderful just look at a fight. And like I said, the fight in these characters is just amazing to see. So I can never get enough of this film. It's a film that I'll watch anytime it's on, and I get a kick out of just watching everyone on screen in that movie. So I had to pick the whole ensemble because every single woman in that movie is a badass.
No, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Well, the second person I picked, and again, it'd be hard for me not to pick this one. This was kind of a gimme in a sense, but it's a good gimme. So it's Sigourney Weaver's in Alien as Ellen Ripley.
Absolutely.
So again, let me set the stage. 1979, so 2 years after Star Wars, and in '79, if you remember, the movies that were making all the money were like Apocalypse Now, Rocky III, Moonraker the year before, stuff like this. So Kramer versus Kramer. So there wasn't anything with this strong female lead, and they broke off with this. And I always like to make the joke that, hey, in this movie, the black guy doesn't die first, because Parker was like the next to last guy to die.
Rest in Parker, Yaphet Kotto, man.
Yeah, right? And so, to me, watching this film, right, first of all, this character was written by Dan O'Bannon as a man first, but it was Ridley who came in and said, no, we're going to make her female. And I think that's one of the best decisions he could have done at that time, knowing what was going to come afterwards, right? So then you get this character who, even when you watch the film, in the first 45 minutes, you don't know who the protagonist is going to be, just like it's just the team, and you think it might be just the captain. But it starts to unravel really quickly, and you get to realize really quickly who the centerpiece is going to be, and it's Ellen Ripley. And so her characteristic is strong. She's able to cut it up with the guys, and she's got that humor, the sarcastic humor that she could throw in. She cares. She has a vulnerability as well. And so when you see this breakdown where all these guys are being, nerfed by this monster, you want to see what she's going to do to this xenophobe, not because you don't think she can do it. You're just wondering how she's going to do it, because she's showing you that she's very capable. She's not just the woman thrown on the cast necessarily, right? You see that, no, there's something here that we're about to see. And this is 1979 that we're doing this, right? So as I listen to all these other films, you see those are all male-led, but here in 1979, Ridley Scott was doing this and breaking a mold. Chrissy, what do you think?
Oh, obsessed. You know, Ridley Scott threw the baton in the air, and then James Cameron comes in with Aliens and just runs with it and elevates it. If you could elevate it, that's the thing that's crazy. Both these guys came in with 5-star, 4 Michelin star meal restaurants here, and then you know, it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and for two totally different reasons. Yeah. I think Ellen Ripley is one of the greatest female science fiction characters on screen. Period. And Sigourney Weaver, one of my favorite actresses, of course. I love everything she does. Has such presence, and she just commands it in such a. She's a true leader, and it's not fake. It's not a pose. It's not forced on you. It's real, and she plays a character that she's like, "Come on, man, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. That makes no sense." And just everything is how she interacts. You know, and what I love too is that how, you know, even Cameron came in to Ridley Scott's film and just kind of elevated Ellen too. She's motherly in the second one too. You really get to see that nurturing come through, and she's still a badass and strong. Yeah. So I love her. She's one of the great cinematic female characters. Yeah, and I truly mean that. Yeah,
it's finally they realized the mistake in every sci-fi and horror film. Listen to the woman. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. Exactly. Listen to the woman. She knows what she's doing. And secondly, can we bring up Newt for a second? Because, like I said, you got another strong girl on scene. Because she's a survivor, man. She does everything she has to get through this whole thing. She's amazingly strong.
She's like, no. She's like, I'm not sticking with you guys. You guys gonna get killed. I've been through this before. So you guys figure that out. I'm gonna go to my little safe place where I figured out how to survive. Yeah, no, she was great.
But yeah, Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, she's obviously great in the role every time she touches it too, even in the weird alien insurrection.
Yeah. Oh boy.
She shines. She makes bold choices. She's not afraid to go in with the director's vision and carry it out, even when it's a terrible film.
Yeah, no, she did that.
She did that. She went in and shaved her head. And give her all the credit for doing that for Alien 3.
Yeah, she shaved her head so that later on Furiosa would, right?
No, and she elevated all those other Alien movies. Just by her being in it, I was like, I'm seeing it. And she just like, if she wasn't there, I don't know what I'd be. So many people would be lost.
That's true. That's very true.
All right, PJ, who you got?
No, that was mine. Okay, go ahead, Christy, give us your final pick.
My final. All right. Well, speaking of badass female characters and James Cameron, I had to go with the one and only Sarah Connor from
Yes, you did.
Represent. Talk about growth of a character. My gosh. So we see the original Terminator and we see Sarah Connor as this waitress. You know, her mom was a waitress. You know, she's just kind of living, young, beautiful girl who is just figuring out and having fun. And then all of a sudden this incredible thing falls into her lap and she realizes she is the turnkey for the future. Her decisions makes it to where if people are going to survive or not, if civilization is going to continue. So, and then you just see this tremendous growth of a character in the second film. Talk about a character that just grows in a way that makes sense, but exponentially. And seeing her in T2, I can understand even why Cameron said it's one of his favorite female characters on screen because it makes sense. And it's so funny because that was his wife at the time, which they did divorce. But just the power that she brought to the character, Linda Hamilton, was intense. And she played this beautiful kind of ingenue, kind of almost naive character in the first film. And then she comes up in here and she's setting the rules. She becomes a general. Like general in the next film, and she kills it. And she, again, it's a very similar kind of to that Furiosa kind of, even Ellen Ripley kind of like one track. This is what we got to do to survive. End of story. I will do whatever it takes. I will put my life on the line, and it's going to be hellfire for you to try and kill me while I do this. And it's amazing. It's a great character, and I think Linda Hamilton to me is the one that's the gold standard for that character. You know, I know there's been other iterations, but no one else I think has come within an inch of what Linda Hamilton has done for that character.
Right. She is what every final girl in a horror movie should aspire to be. which is you let the situation make you into a badass, and you become a badass and a better person for it. Linda Hamilton, of course, blows out of the water. But again, the character of Sarah Connor, watching her evolution through the Terminator movies, it's always great.
It's gold. So it's definitely gold. Yeah. Who else you got?
All right. So again, I kind of went askew on this, and I chose again an ensemble cast for mine, and that was the three women at the center of the movie Hidden Figures. Jenna Monet, Taraji Henson, and Octavia Spencer playing respectively Mary Jackson, Katherine Johnson, and Dorothy Vaughan. True badasses, because again, you don't necessarily have to be the action star to be the badass on screen, because like I said, like I talked about last week, you're drawn to the smartest people I'm drawn to the smartest people in the room, and these women are absolutely the smartest women in the room, because like I said, they helped get us to the moon. They helped get us to next level stuff. Not just because they were women, not just because they were black, not because they were black women, but because they were the smartest people in the room, and you absolutely had to respect that. Put aside the whole white savior complex thing, but that it's completely unnecessary. Basically, these women in and of themselves, perfected computing for NASA. When it came down to John Glenn going up, he needed to have those figures checked, and he had Katherine Johnson actually checking those figures. That part's true before he goes up. If the stats match what she's got, he's golden. You have Mary Jackson, who, like I said, is doing incredible things in physics. You have all these women, real life women, who made great scientific breakthroughs and backgrounds. And like I said, served to inspire, women in science, women at NASA. And like I said, it's phenomenal to see that kind of badassery on screen. You don't necessarily have to punch someone in the face to be a badass.
Agreed.
And that was absolutely the crux of that film, is that you can be a badass and still be everything that you need to be.
They truly changed the world. Yeah, they did.
Absolutely, and in more than one way.
Yeah.
Right. Because now you have to take people of color seriously. You can't think that the smartest person in the room has to necessarily be by default someone that doesn't have melanin in their skin. So at that time,
a white male with money, no.
Right. And at that time, to think of what they did, it's just like the same thing that Harriet Tubman had done before that, and Rosa Parks was doing, and all these great black women, Sojourner Truth, all of them. So the idea that they stepped forward, being both the things that you just said, at a time where people wouldn't even think that they could do something like that they should be somewhere cooking and cleaning somebody's house. Yeah. That contrast is so stark that you can't miss it. And so, yes, for them to do what they did, it's all powerful. I love it.
It's a huge part of 20th century history that has not gotten enough credit. Yeah, and it's
true.
And it's great that we're getting to see that now.
Yes.
It's important stories to tell like this, because, they're real. They're inspiring. These are real people that changed the world.
Yes.
And continue to do so. So I think it's powerful, and I think it's absolutely.
Yeah. And so with that, my final pick, my number one is going to have to go back to just before Ellen Ripley there, just 2 years before Ellen Ripley. There was someone called Princess Leia. So now as a kid, Princess Leia. So as a kid, I'm sitting here going in 1977, like, look at her. Look how she handles that blaster. Look how she's telling Han Solo, you got here and that? You're braver than I thought, right? And just the snappiness and the punchiness. I was like, I like this. I want to see more of this. This is great. And then when she's telling them about, you got a plan to get in here, but not a plan to get out of here. And so you see that this is not the damsel in distress, even though they swing across that one scene, and Lucas just wanted that in there. But the idea that you see this scrappy female who's a princess, and she's telling them what's going on. Like when they first talking to her, she's saying, no, I'm not going to tell you where the plans are, the rebel base. I mean, she was showing you, no way. She's showing you I can be a contrarian but still be loved by it, and then still have people want to follow me. You see this strong personality in Princess Leia. And then, of course, she's hopeful and she cares. And like when they blow up Alderaan, spoiler alert, maybe? No. But when they blow up Alderaan, the look on her face when she just sees that what she's been fighting for has just been smattered. But then she doesn't crawl into like this little well and get into the fetal position and cry about Alderaan. She's just knowing it's just a matter of time and something's going to happen. And of course, it turns out Luke come in with the guys and they don't have a great plan, but she can get him out of there. Whether they have a good plan or not, she can get him out of there. So when you see Princess Leia, you see her holding that gun. When you see her firing back at those stormtroopers, she's not afraid. She's not going, how does this work? Do you touch this thing here? No. Luke just gave her that blaster. She just starts blowing up stormtroopers so he can try to get that door open so they can then try to do that, that swing that's famous. But for me, and my money, when I saw Princess Leia back then as a, was it 9-year-old, I was noticing, oh, wow, what's this kind of character? Because I would seen that kind of character before in like Luke and like Han, but not like this. Yeah. And I absolutely loved it. Way before she got into that slave Leia costume, I was digging her way before that, right?
Right. Christy?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, I have to do my thing.
Yes, you do.
I got my signed Carrie Fisher.
Nice.
I got Peter.
Yes.
Yas.
Yep.
Okay. Princess Leia. Okay, hold up. Princess Leia, why I loved her. So I watched Star Wars: A New Hope as a young girl, as a young Padawan, and Leia is a princess of Alderaan. So there was already a built-in stereotype of save the princess. Oh, they have to. This guy's a farm boy, and this guy's a kind of like this catty smuggler, and they're going to be the ones that swoop in and save the princess and get the award, or reward rather. When they come in there, she doesn't need their help. That's what I loved about it. I love that she is fully capable. She broke the stereotype. Just because I'm a princess does not mean I need you to rescue me. And as a young girl, seeing a strong female say, you know what, into the chute, fly boy, because you guys have no idea what you're doing. She takes over. She becomes a leader. And she shows her strength in that way. And, even though, and then I loved the juxtaposition between her and Han as characters, because you could tell Han was rough around the edges, but he didn't have the tactical knowledge that Leia had. Leia had that. Leia was very educated. She was Bail Organa's daughter before, Anakin came into the picture, I guess. But that's who raised her, was this strong leader. And, she was set up to be part of the political system and be able to run an entire planet of Alderaan. That's what she would have done. So she had to have this acumen and this know-how. And I love that within moments of meeting her, you can tell she's hyper intelligent. She's not this whimpering young thing. She's clever enough to deflect them, to make sure they don't, oh yeah, the plans are on Tatooine. Yeah, sure, it's right there. Go get it. And it's not there. She was smart enough to do that and come across as believable. I just loved her as a character because I'm a big science fiction fantasy, nerd. So as a kid, I was seeing a lot of females that I thought were cool, but I couldn't really identify with. Princess Leia was the very first female I saw on screen that I felt like represented who I would be in that situation and who I aspired to be. And that's what I loved. She was feminine, she was strong, she was courageous, she commanded a room. And I love that in no time whatsoever, you just knew who she was. She came in there, she had empathy, she had compassion, but she knew what needed to be done, and she had no problem doing it. So that's what I loved. And she was inspirational to her team and to the people there. So, and I love that they made her a general. I would say in the newer films, that's probably one of my favorite things that happened, because that makes sense. She is a general. She is powerful. So.
Yeah. No, and I like it. And what I think was great about it was that there's also, I think when we look at intelligence, there's different types of intelligence. So I wouldn't say that Han Solo wasn't intelligent. Not that you're saying that, but that guy is a hustler. And that takes a type of intelligence to be able to do that kind of stuff too.
He's not used to working with someone of Leia's caliber.
Oh, I understand. I get it. I get it. I get it.
He's not used to that. He's used to working with, so let me go ahead and pull one over on you. And she's like, no, we're not going to do that. You're going to have a conversation with me. And I love that. I love that. She challenges him.
Yeah.
To be better.
Right. And Carrie Fisher, of course, was, a really great choice to grow into that role. If you read the Princess Diaries, you kind of see she's an actress who's, you know, kind of scared of her own potential. And then, like I said, as you watch Princess Leia grow, you also watch Carrie grow as an actress, as a writer, as, you know, just one of the smartest people in Hollywood. You know,
script doctor. She was a secret script doctor for. You would not believe the script she worked on.
Carrie was absolutely amazing, and not afraid to be funny, and you know, not afraid to embrace her faults and try and work past them. She's a wonderful choice for Carrie Fisher, and a wonderful choice to close this out, because, like I said, we do definitely miss Carrie Fisher in this world. And like I said, she really did set an example for a whole generation of female badasses on film. So it's a perfect choice to go out on.
Yeah, it is great. And I think that the other part of it is I would probably have a slight disagreement on is I think they all needed each other. I don't think it was that they didn't need each other, right? I think they all needed each other, because it was Han that came back at the end and shot the plane, shot the ship that made Darth Vader go into, you know, spinning out. So if you don't have Han coming back and doing that, you know, we don't know what happens. So I think the way I tend to look at it is that Princess Leia is awesome all on her own, and but I don't think you have to devalue others to lift one up, right?
No, I wasn't saying it to devalue them. I was saying just in that particular scene when they came.
I get it, but that's what it sounds like.
But no, I think
it could come off like that. So I'm like I said, I'm trying to balance, because I know on the other side, I know what guys are thinking about some things, and so what I want to do is just let everybody know. It's like Princess Leia's character was so great that you didn't have to devalue anybody else to make her great, because, by the way, why would she be a princess if she wasn't smart? So that doesn't even make sense that you put somebody up there, but it could happen. But I love it because that's exactly who she was.
They made Jar Jar a freaking senator.
That's right, and that's why I think
doesn't speak highly for Naboo.
They made E.T. Senators. Remember, they made E.T. was a senator. And
we all know that was an Easter egg. So,
no. I think absolutely that's the joy of the trilogy, is that they all that was it. The secret sauce is that they all needed to each other, and they, because of their friendship and their connectedness to each other, they grew. Yes. You know, and what's really interesting is that the whole Star Wars trilogy is about faith and hope, but hope in, like, you know, she has a brother now that she never knew, and that the Force brought them together truly, and they had no idea. So it was really interesting to see the growth of the characters and how being around one another, not only did they grow as actors, but you could see it in the characters. That by being around one another, they kind of took on a little bit of influence from each other. And that's what's kind of part of one of the magical ingredients of the Star Wars trilogy, is that you really see that growth by them all being together. You know, Han grows, Leia grows, and Luke grows. So that's
absolutely, and they all represented something different, right? So you needed the brilliant person who has command and has worked with people and certainly worked in the politics, if you want corporate. So you had that. You needed the young boy with all the physical talent in the world. When you see him doing all those flips and all that stuff, nobody else was doing stuff like that. But he had that kind of talent. He had that desire, that drive to be something more than just a farmer, right? And then you have the old, you had the Han Solo, the smooth guy. He's the earth guy. He's the guy that while you may show up with all your degrees and everything, he'll beat you with a different kind of intelligence, which is that slick, street smart type stuff. That's who he was. And so when you put all of them together, boom, look out galaxy, because they could come at you from any angle and beat you. So I absolutely love it. I think that's a great ender on that end. And so with that, we are at the last moment. We start talking about Star Wars here. We can go, because there's some great stuff.
I got a feeling we're going to go on Star Wars here.
We're going to have to do a Star Wars one here. Yeah.
We're going to definitely...
Right.
We're going to definitely have to bring some folks in on that.
Yeah, we definitely will, because there's some meaning. There's a lot more meaning than some people even imagine sometimes with this. And I know Christy picks up on some of it as well. So, well, with that, guys, thank you. Yes. Right. I know she's there, right? If she's going to call herself the Jedi-goddess, she
I'm
is.
All things. I'm omnipotent with the Force. So.
All right. Well, speaking of places where you're omnipotent, where can we find you on the socials?
Excellent. I love it. So you can find me facebook.com/JediGoddessChristy. JediGoddess.com is my website. So I talk movie and nerd things all the time, and I have a YouTube channel. Look for Jedi Goddess. can't miss me. And yes, let's talk movies.
That's right. Check her out. And Kazak, who you shouting out to?
Yeah, you'll actually be able to find me arguing with Christy and arguing the merits of some of our favorite films on there. But yeah, I do want to go ahead and shout out DallasOnAir.com. Check out all our folks here, including the folks that we alternate Sundays with. That's the Rancor Pit Live and Isle of Toys. You can check Isle of Toys third Sundays and Rancor Pit first and third Sundays, where we talk all things Star Wars if you haven't gotten enough from today. Also, check out some of the other great shows here on DallasOnAir.com, including Fan and Wife, Figments and Unexplained Mysteries podcast, both of those from Eddie and Colleen Medina. Check out our sports shows. Check out BFB. Check out 12 Pack. Check out Say Something with Trey Dillon. Check out all the stuff right here in DallasOnAir.com. And of course, shout outs to Jansen and Kat who give us a home here every week right here in DallasOnAir.com.
That's right. And I've got a shout out to the film samurai himself, Carlos Salinas.
We got to get him in here for Oscar stuff, man.
Yeah, although I'm not that interested in Oscars this year. But okay, yes.
But he is, and that's why we talked to him.
Oh, you haven't talked to Carlos lately because he's not that interested in these films either. Come on now.
I can understand that. I'm there with you, BJ.
Thank you, because this is crap. People are going to win awards because there was nothing else out there, so that's horrible. But anyway, I'll get back to it. So Scott, Lady, Michelle, Troy Ross. See how we can keep going because this is good stuff. But anyway, we'll keep going. So yes, and also Harry Thomas, also Jedi Cole, also Eddie Medina. These are the folks I'm giving a shout out to. And also for John E Flix, who couldn't be here today, we're shouting out to you as well, Johnny. So with that, we've had fun. We hope you had fun. If there's some questions or if there's some comments, if there's some females that we left off, please put it in the comments section. We'll talk about that as well. And then, of course, if there's something else that you're looking forward to for spring, go ahead and reach out to us too, and you can post that as well at the end in the comments section. So with that, I think we're out of here. And so, Kazak, thank you. And Jedi-goddess, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
May the force be with you and not upon you.
Wait, I want it upon me.
Understood.